I say to this day, and I do it based on my reaction. Obviously, this is personal. I say it's the greatest knockout of all time. First time I ever stood up, I couldn't sit down. I was standing up. I was just like, oh!
I saw that. I saw you stand up. That's the first time I see
it. Was just, what?
Back to him the last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that. He at least won 3.
Little but will you take care of me forever and ever?
When Anthony Joshua delivered the devastating knockout in the 6th round, bringing Jake Paul's much-hyped heavyweight challenge to an abrupt end, Joe Rogan's real-time reaction said it all. Rogan had repeatedly cautioned about Joshua's raw knockout power and the serious risk Paul was taking, and when the punch finally landed, he didn't sugarcoat it. He immediately framed the finish as more than just the end of a fight, suggesting it could be remembered as one of the harshest and most unforgettable knockouts the sport has ever seen.
Either come full steam ahead 100 miles an hour, or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's 2 things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided.
The matchup, promoted as Judgment Day, was scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds in the heavyweight division, with Joshua coming in as the strong favorite thanks to his top-level experience and physical edge. At 6 feet 6 inches and roughly 243 pounds, Joshua outweighed Paul, who stepped in at about 216 pounds. The opening rounds were cautious, but the momentum shifted as Joshua gradually asserted himself. In the 5th round, he dropped Paul multiple times before closing the show in the 6th. At 1:31 of the round, Joshua connected with a powerful right hand that sent Paul to the mat, prompting the referee to immediately wave off the contest.
Champ Anthony Joshua. Paul was sturdy for the first couple of rounds, but as the fight went on, the more experienced Joshua began to take control. After continuously connecting in the 5th round, it was only a matter of time before it was over. In the 6th, Joshua went on to knock out Paul with a big right hand. Joshua improved his career record to 29-4 now. Paul loses for the 2nd time in his career to.
The matchup between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul became one of the most discussed fights of the year. This was not only due to the high-profile personalities in the ring, but also because it highlighted the growing tension between classic heavyweight boxing and the rise of influencer-driven, social media-focused combat sports.
Performance by Jake, brother. Come on, bro. He's a fucking legend for that. He has such big balls getting in the ring with that guy, dude. Josh is a monster. He stayed in it the whole time, and I'm really proud of Jake, dude. All my respect to him, bro. Whatever outcome. I mean, dude, he went 6.5 rounds with Anthony Joshua, one of the best in the world. So I got nothing but respect.
And got up like 2 times.
No, it was sick.
Talk about that. I mean, there's been other heavyweights that have felt that right hand who haven't got up.
Nagano, so many people, bro. The overhand right. Jake's got a tough chin, dude. I think he does whatever he wants after this. He just has such big balls, dude. He had to keep moving. That was the only strategy. People are going to say he ran around the ring. They don't know. They don't understand fucking boxing.
He showed a ton of heart, right? What's next for Jake Paul? Where does he go?
Joshua, who previously held the unified heavyweight title twice, was widely seen as the clear favorite going into the fight. Paul, originally a YouTube personality who transitioned into boxing, had leveraged his online following to generate significant attention for the bout, even though many traditional boxing fans questioned his legitimacy. Still, most observers doubted he had a real shot against a top-tier heavyweight like Joshua.
Some people believe in fairy tales. Whoever believed that Jake Paul was going to win, that was an absolute fairy tale. I've got a friend in a group message that said, I just put $20 on Jake Paul to win. I was like, bro, you just wasted your money. There was never a world in which Jake Paul was going to beat Anthony Joshua. It was always a matter of how the fight would end. So I watched all the pundits talking about the fight. Even Rosendo, my boxing coach, I was like, does Anthony Joshua represent boxing? Everybody from that world felt like Anthony Joshua was representing boxing. And as the fight started to go on, first off, he was representing boxing, so they wanted him to get the job done. All right, first and foremost. You can't lose to a guy that's perceived to be a YouTuber, even though today, Jake Paul is more boxer than YouTuber. I've said this time and time again. When you have resources, when you can spend $1 million a year on training camps, housing, food, coaches, this is not recreational anymore. He's a boxer. He's just not a boxer at that level. I ran into his brother in New York City. and I said to Logan, what parameters are in place, Logan? What safeguards do they have to make sure that Anthony Joshua doesn't hurt your brother? He said there are none. He goes, they're going to just straight fight. So in that regard, you got to give credit.
After the fight, Anthony Joshua spoke candidly about his performance. Although he secured a 6th-round knockout, he acknowledged that it wasn't his strongest showing and that he could have performed at a higher level. Joshua admitted he faced challenges early on, struggling to land clean punches and finding it harder than expected to trap Jake Paul in the corner. He described the outcome as a victory, but not a fully satisfying one, emphasizing that there is still plenty of room for him to improve.
What I've done better is a lot of things, 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna...
Even after earning the knockout, Joshua made sure to recognize Jake Paul's determination and toughness in the ring. He pointed out that, despite eventually going down for the 6th-round stoppage, Paul demonstrated genuine grit by repeatedly rising after being knocked down and continuing to challenge a much more seasoned former world champion. Joshua also noted that few fighters would have taken on someone of his experience, and he praised Paul's perseverance and fighting spirit as deserving of respect.
Eddie, AJ's won 6 rounds, he kind of dismantled him, he took his time. How do you see it?
Yeah, it was a frustrating 2-3 rounds maybe, because Jake was moving so much, holding, but did well, I thought. I mean, I was impressed with him. I mean, I was more impressed with his toughness, because I think that last shot would have knocked out most heavyweights. I mean, I know
he broke his jaw.
Yeah, I know it knocked him out,
Knocked
but he
his
was
teeth
not
out.
unconscious. You know, I mean, look, he may not come back from it. If he has broken his jaw, it's a big injury to come back from.
Well, there's pictures of him in hospital right now.
Well, listen, you've got to respect him, because he did what many people wouldn't do, which was get in the ring with him. And, you know, he didn't... I know he run and hold, but he also let his hands go at times. And he was in the firing line, and, you know, we got 6 good rounds in the end of actual work.
Is that how you see it in the end?
Yeah, I actually think it's a positive, because, you know, we could have gone in there and got it all over with 45 seconds. He's done an 8-week camp, and now he's done 6 rounds. He's got something to go back on.
During the 6th round, Paul sustained a broken jaw when Joshua landed a decisive right hand that ended the fight. After the bout, a blooded Paul mentioned in his post-fight interview that he suspected his jaw was broken, a concern that was later confirmed.
Logan, what's up, man? What's your reaction to it?
I'm just so proud of him. My mom has it.
Your brother fought his ass off, man.
Yeah,
I mean, other heavyweights have taken that right hand and only took 1.
I'm just so proud of him. That was incredible. In my view, that was a victory on all fronts.
Right.
Like, minus the actual victory, obviously, of course, but bro, like, no one expected him to last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that he at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fucking fighting, man. Like, that's toughness. You know, most people wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet, who's 40 pounds heavier than him and 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. My brother, as a fucking YouTuber, went 6 rounds with him in a fight with a broken jaw and rolled ankle. I'm so proud of him. That was just unbelievable.
I saw you talking crap to AJ at one
Bro, I
point.
was trying to give him I think I pissed him off. I was just safe talking shit. I love AJ. But bro,
I saw you going them.
I was talking so much. But I just pissed him off. Then he broke my brother's jaw.
True to his bold persona, Jake Paul shared a defiant post after the fight, posting a screenshot of his X-ray that revealed his jaw had been broken in 2 places. He joked about the injury and hinted at taking on another fight soon. Medical scans confirmed the fractures, and Paul drove himself to the hospital for treatment. The estimated recovery time was around 4 to 6 weeks, and he kept fans updated on social media, posting images and thanking them for their support.
Nikita, just down here, Jeffrey from the Sun. Just to follow up on Jake, He said he broke his jaw in the aftermath. Has he gone to hospital? What's the health update on Jake?
Yeah, we think he broke his jaw. He's fine. We met with Netflix afterwards. He took a shower. He drove himself to the hospital. A broken jaw is very common in sports, particularly in boxing or MMA. And I think the recovery time from the doctors and surgeons we've already talked to is 4.
Nikisa Badarian highlighted Jake Paul's toughness, resilience, and smart approach in the ring, noting that he performed admirably against one of the most feared punchers in heavyweight boxing and may have even taken a few early rounds. However, Badarian stressed that Paul's loss was not due to a lack of skill but rather the considerable size and strength difference between the fighters. Joshua's heavier frame and power consistently drained Paul's energy and allowed the former champion to land the decisive punches that ended the fight. Despite the defeat, Badarian emphasized that Paul's effort and performance were worthy of respect.
That's what happened. And ultimately, Jake Paul lasted a lot longer than anyone said he was going to. And I haven't seen the official scorecards. I don't know if anyone else has, but I think he might have won a round or 2 or even 3. He was doing tremendously well in there against a person who is vastly more skilled, vastly larger, vastly more powerful. And he did it on 4 weeks preparation.
What would you like to see next for Jake?
I'd like him to take a beat, relax, and then think about when he's gonna fight next. You know, we talked about June, July timeframe. He loves the sport. He loves MVP. He loves the athletes. He loves giving them platform and push. This young lady right here, the whole time when I was talking to her, I said, what do you think? She goes, Jake's gonna win. I believe in him. He can do whatever he wants to do. That's the kind of family that we're building at MVP. It's a fighter-first organization. You guys saw our weigh-in yesterday. That stuff costs a lot of money, but we want to put on the best brand for these fighters to show the world.
Several fighters recognized Jake Paul's resilience for taking on a former heavyweight champion and lasting until the 6th round, particularly given the gap in size and experience. They praised his heart and determination, even in a loss by knockout. Eddie Hearn offered a more measured perspective, noting that while Paul showed toughness, the result was never really in doubt. Hearn explained that no one expected Paul to pose a serious threat to someone of Anthony Joshua's level, and making it to the 6th round reflected more on his durability than his technical skill. He suggested that the fight highlighted the difference between social media crossover fighters and elite professionals, emphasizing that lasting multiple rounds was impressive but did not change the fact that Joshua's experience and power ultimately decided the outcome.
I mean, first 2 or 3 rounds, a little bit frustrating because you've been out of the ring for a year and a half and you've got a guy that's just running around the ring and, you know, you can say you've got to cut him off, but when they're moving at that kind of speed and they're holding up close, but his clinching was quite good, Jake. Like, yeah, listen, you know, I'm not saying he's going to go and win a world title, but he just fought Anthony Joshua and went 5 and a bit rounds. So, you know, respect to him, and it was good to get some rounds in, to be honest with you. He's got a new team. If it would have gone 45 seconds, maybe people would have been more impressed, but we wouldn't really have got any ring time. So we've got that, and now it's a case of when we're at next.
You described Jake as average a few years ago. What's your assessment of him now?
Decent. If you listen to what I said in the build-up, I said he used to be average, now I think he's decent. And the same. I think he's like a top 50 cruiserweight in the world. Top 50, top 60 cruiserweight in the world. So, yeah, and look, you know, like I said, I hope he's okay. 4-0. 4-0 to Matchroom over MVP. But we're friends now, so respect to him.
And your message for
Fury? Listen, we'll see you this.
After the fight, Ryan Garcia shared a direct and provocative opinion on social media that grabbed attention in the boxing community. While acknowledging Paul's effort, Garcia drew a sharp comparison to another prominent fighter, Gervonta Davis, suggesting that Davis might have handled Paul even more decisively than Joshua did. Many analysts echoed this sentiment, arguing that the fight did not represent elite-level boxing. Even after the bout, some critics continued to question whether the matchup between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul should have taken place at all.
And look, fair play to Jake Paul. He has a lot of guts, and the fact that he wasn't carried out of this fight on a stretcher, you know, certainly I guess you can say is a positive. But what did I think about this? What did I think about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul? Look, it felt like Anthony Joshua carried him. It felt like Jake Paul brought in as much of a negative anti-style as possible, circling away, constantly holding Joshua, constantly falling to the ground. Again, while you're certainly going to give respect for the YouTube star turned fighter for having the guts to put on this type of show and to stand in there for as long as he did until a clean right hand in the corner when Paul was absolutely exhausted, dropped him and ended the fight, this is not elite boxing. And we knew that coming in, but if these fights are going to be sanctioned as official fights, like the Mike Tyson fight from last year, like this one, how much longer is the appetite for the fan going to be there when this is such a bad look overall for the sweet science, the sport of boxing, which, you know, cannot get out of its way anyway?
Critics have highlighted that the differences in size, experience, and skill between a former heavyweight world champion and a social media personality-turned-boxer were significant, making the fight feel more like entertainment than a serious sporting contest. Many also pointed out the safety concerns of matching Paul against a fighter with Olympic-level experience and genuine heavyweight power, as reflected in his broken jaw and multiple knockdowns during the bout.
Anthony Joshua being taken 6 rounds by Jake Paul. We're in the aftermath here. The press conference is going on behind us. We're yet to see Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua out here. Ak, you were ringside, you were around the whole fight. People are complaining that Anthony Joshua may have embarrassed himself in there tonight, letting Jake take him 6 rounds.
It's ridiculous. Anybody that saying that doesn't know anything about boxing. First off, if you see how Jake was moving and clinching the first 3-4 rounds of that fight, you would understand. It doesn't matter how bad you are. If a fighter in front of you is destined to not get hit and not get knocked out, it's almost impossible to knock that guy out. When Jake was okay with exchanging and trying, even he was exhausted, he said, I'm going to try, that's when AJ was there to land the shots. AJ did what he was supposed to do. Not easy to knock a guy out that's surviving, you know that.
Yeah, I do. I wondered early on whether he didn't have a lot of adrenaline and he was walking Jake down. Jake was making himself small and moving away. And AJ said, you know what, I'm going to take my time here and marinate you.
Exactly. Listen, when a guy that's moving like Jake, that's inexperienced, you're going to gas out. I knew it for after half the first round. If Jake keeps moving like that, he's going to gas out in 2-3 rounds. And I noticed that AJ said, okay, I'm going to let him run around, right? People are screaming, cut the ring off. Let me let him run around and gas out. Once he gassed out, what happened?
Many experts argue that crossover fights like this one can undermine the credibility of professional boxing, prioritizing entertainment and pay-per-view sales over genuine competition. They suggest that the matchup was driven more by hype than by athletic merit.
The bigger picture, you and I are boxing guys, we go to boxing all the time. The question we perhaps need to ask is, did that entertain the fans tonight? Should we be seeing that again? Is that it now? We've seen that novelty. Should a fight like that between an Olympic champion, a heavyweight world champion, against a relative novice, should that be sanctioned and licensed by a commission? You know, it was a one-off. Jake's a one-off, but we shouldn't be seeing a lot of these events, in my view.
Never again. We should never have that gap of experience.
The mismatch.
Skill set should never happen again. I mean, to your point, Jake is an anomaly, right? Like, we can let him get that off. He tried it, and he even landed a couple of shots, but you saw at first, I mean, as soon as he landed the first right hand, even he saw, I can't hurt this guy. I'm not going to.
It was a pebble hitting a tank, is how I've described it.
Great description. So I think it's, in some sense, we needed to have this in order for it not to happen again.
To get it out of our system.
Right. In order for it not to happen again. And look, let's not ignore that there were other fighters on the card who were watched, who were seen from places all around the world. So it served its purpose, and kudos to Netflix for allowing it to happen.
Yeah, Baumgardner was very good. Alicia Baumgardner defending her belts. Caroline Dubois was very good. She signaled herself to the American market, as you mentioned. So at least they benefit from it as well tonight, which will continue to happen with MVP and Netflix.
And that's what Jake and Nikisa, that's their agenda, right? Of course, it's Jake, but Jake has all of that in mind. Who can I showcase on this event? He did it for Amanda Serrano. She's made millions. He's starting to look, Dubois, she looked great. I want to see her again. Me personally, I became a fan of her.
So, what's your take? Was this fight a true measure of skill, or more of a spectacle that shouldn't have happened? Share your thoughts in the comments.